The Ikelas Museum of Folk Musical Instruments stands in the very heart of Almaty, nestled within the quiet greenery of a city park. The museum occupies a historic wooden building constructed back in 1908. Its architect, Andrei Zenkov, at the dawn of the 20th century, designed structures that were not only beautiful but also earthquake-resistant, a detail especially vital for Almaty. But the building itself is only the prologue. It was never meant to be a museum, yet at a certain point in the city's history, an intriguing symbiosis occurred. A valuable architectural form was filled with profound meaning, a vivid chronicle of the musical culture of the Kazakh people. The very first thing visitors feel here is a special vibe, where past and present intersect on the same sound wave. Here, sound is perceived not only as artistic expression, but as the language of memory, because this museum was conceived not simply as a collection of rare instruments, but as a cultural center. Every hall, every display is like another thread, weaving today's audience into centuries of heritage. In these exhibits, one can hear and truly listen to the story of Kazakh music, its birth, its deep connection with nature, traditions, the nomadic way of life, and the development of ancient crafts.
Музейдің енді негізгі мақсаты әрине біз көп жағдайда бұл мәдениет.
The main goal of the museum is the preservation of heritage. Today it has grown into a full-fledged institution that not only safeguards cultural legacy but actively promotes it.
Мәдениетті сақтаушы және мәдениетті көрсетіп кеңдікке таратушы болып саналады қазіргі сәтте. яғни қарапайым сөзбен айтқан кезде
Visitors explore the exhibits, receive insights from guides, and hear the instruments come alive.
Урсаводтан сұрады, білді. Соңғы нүкте сол аспаптардың үнделуі, яғни соны тыңдады.
What's equally important is how these instruments are used in modern culture, in ethno-rock and other musical genres. In this way, the museum's cultural mission is fully realized.
Соның барлығына қызыға келе, белгілі бір толық миссия, мақсат орындалады.
The story of the museum begins in the late 1970s when Kazakhstan saw a rising interest in preserving national cultural heritage. One of the key initiators of the future exhibition was the prominent statesman and public figure Uzbek Ali Janibekov. At that time, serving as Deputy Minister of Culture of the Republic, he personally oversaw the expansion of the museum's collection, gathering instruments preserved in nomadic families, passed down by hereditary musicians, old masters, and enthusiasts. This was not only museum work, but also research. Many instruments required study of their origins, reconstruction, and proper attribution.
Келесі жылы 45 жыл толады музейдің ашылуына. Және әрбір тұлға өзінің бір
Next year, the museum will celebrate its 45th anniversary. Over the years, many remarkable figures have become part of its story. One of the most prominent was Uzbek Ali Janibekov. Thanks to his initiatives, many museums across Kazakhstan were opened. Another one was Omar Kaymoldin, an extraordinary man who helped restore ancient instruments.
Жәнібек секілді тұлғаның жанында жүрген үлкен азаматтар бар.
Today, the museum's staff continue the path of these great people. They may not leave the same mark, but they work to preserve what was built and to share this heritage with the nation and the world.
Көтермелеуге, қалың жұртшылыққа, әлем жұртшылығына таныстыруға сол бағытта жұмыс жасаймыз.
The museum first opened its doors in 1981. Just 3 years later, the collection has grown so large it was moved into its current building. And the search for new pieces never stopped. Ethnographers and musicologists traveled across Kazakhstan searching for rare instruments, recording the stories of their keepers, and gathering information about the musical traditions of different tribal groups. Step by step, the collection became one of the largest in Central Asia, and it wasn't only instruments that arrived here.
There are many unusual, unique exhibits, including our stones, displayed in their original form. The very first dates back to the period between the Paleolithic and Neolithic. On it, you can see the oldest known drawing of a dombyra, along with 4 dancing figures. It was discovered in Almaty region on Mount Maydube. Our second stone also carries its own story. It bears even more carvings, among them instruments like the sabazlı and a harp-shaped musical instrument. These date to the 3rd-4th millennia BC, which continues to amaze and astonish our many visitors and tourists.
The museum tour begins in the introductory hall. Here you'll find the classification of Kazakh musical instruments developed by the renowned musicologist Bolat Sarıbayev. His system divides them into 5 groups: plucked strings, reed, percussion, noise, and wind. This structure not only organizes the exhibition, it also reveals the inner logic of Kazakh musical culture, how it grew more complex over time, and how it remained tied to nomadic life. After this foundation, visitors move on to memorial exhibits, the personal instruments of famous kuishi and performers. Their dombyras and kobezes still bear the marks of time. Worn surfaces, repaired parts, traces of playing. These details themselves are cultural documents. The tour concludes in the Hall of the Peoples of the World. Here, instruments from more than 50 countries create a sweeping panorama of global musical traditions. By comparing Kazakh instruments with Japanese, Indonesian, Korean, Bulgarian, or French examples, visitors discover the shared roots of humanity's musical imagination.
Сейчас мы находимся в 8-м зале музея, где представлены музыкальные инструменты с Индонезии.
We are now in the 8th hall, where instruments from Indonesia, Korea, Japan, India, and Pakistan are displayed. One of our most unusual exhibits is the Indonesian angklung, made entirely of bamboo. As you can see, there are 30 bamboo tubes. Because of their size, the instrument is played by several people together. Each person holds the tube at the edge and shakes it in turn.
Краю и трясет. Здесь у нас также представлен инструмент с Индонезии, который называется сасандо.
Here we also have an instrument from Indonesia called the sasando. Its back is made from a palmyra leaf. According to legend, a boy fell asleep on an island and heard a beautiful sound. When he woke, he wanted to recreate it. He took a palmyra leaf, stretched strings across it, and produced the same sound. That's how the sasando was created. You can see it here in our 6th hall, where we also show a video of how it sounds. Among Korean folk instruments, we present the gayageum. You can notice its similarity to the Kazakh jitagin. The gayageum is also a plucked string instrument. We show it here in 2 versions. It's played on the knees and played by plucking. A very similar instrument is also found in Japanese tradition, right here. But according to some sources, the instruments originally came from China along the Silk Road.
A special place in the exhibition is held by the narkobiz of Baksi Jeras, one of the oldest instruments in the collection. Made in the 17th century, it was a family relic, passed down from generation to generation. Yet a legend surrounds it. After its owner's death, the narkobiz was buried with him, and people claim they sometimes heard faint sounds rising from beneath the earth. This story reflects the deep respect Kazakhs have for the kobiz, seen as a bridge between the world of the living and the spirits. Today, the Museum of Folk Musical Instruments continues to serve as a research center dedicated to preserving and reviving Kazakh musical traditions. Every instrument that enters the collection undergoes careful study. Its design, age, materials, and ownership history are all documented. For ancient and fragile pieces, special storage conditions are created, controlled humidity, temperature, and minimal light exposure, ensuring the wood's form and structure are preserved.
Жалпы музей музыкалық аспаптар жасаушы Шертер компаниясымен.
During restoration, the instrument's authentic appearance is always recreated. If only the body of an instrument arrives at the museum, researchers study it carefully. Which region it comes from, how many strings or feathers it had, and what the strings were likely made of, silk or gut. Based on this data, the instrument is restored almost to its original form. In the exhibition halls, special temperature and humidity are maintained, monitored by museum analysts. And if a choice must be made, the museum prioritizes preserving the physical structure of the instrument over its sound. The main focus is on safeguarding its material integrity. In recent years, the museum has embraced modern methods of documentation. As part of the Jariguer project, unique video recordings were made. Memorial instruments from the collection were played in a specially prepared concert space. These recordings became a valuable resource, allowing audiences to hear the authentic sound of instruments that, due to age, can no longer be used in live performance.
Также у нас в музее представлен медиа-тейбл.
We also have a media table in the museum where visitors can listen to the sound of all Kazakh musical instruments and learn about them. Recently, audio guides were added in 5 languages: English, Kazakh, Russian, and Turkish. An audio guide in Spanish is also planned. This gives more people the chance to access information in whichever language is most convenient for them.
На любом удобном для них языке.
Today, the museum's collection includes more than 1,300 exhibits. Among them are instruments that once fell into obscurity, such as the jelbuaz, the tuyaktas, and early forms of the jetigen. Each reflects a distinct layer of culture and the expressive traditions of nomadic tribes.
Желбуаз аспабын енді қалың қазақ жұртшылығы біле бермейді, бірақ та негізі осы әлемге.
The jelbuaz is unfamiliar to most Kazakhs, yet it is considered the ancestor of the world-famous bagpipe. Mentions of it appear in Russian and Chinese sources. They describe how, on the banks of the Orkhon River where a man of the Turkic tribes passed away, he was accompanied by the sound of the jelbuaz. Its tone was thought to be deeply mournful. Men played the instrument while women lamented and expressed grief. The jelbuaz was brought back from oblivion by Nurgisat Lendiev, who first introduced it into orchestral music with the Otirar Sazi ensemble in 1980. The method of making it has survived according to ancient tradition, crafted from the skin of a young goat.
Терісінен жасайды. Алдыңғы аяқтары, толық корпусы жаслақтың терісінен жасалды.
Equally unique is the tuyaktas, an instrument made from horse hooves. Shaped and decorated with leather and ornaments, it was played during the bride's farewell ritual known as sinsu. It is a vivid example of how everyday objects from nomadic life were transformed into musical instruments, capable of conveying the emotional shades of life's most important ceremonies.
Токолдак такой необычный шумовой музыкальный.
The tokoldak is a very unusual noise instrument, also used in orchestral ensembles, often before the performance of Q. In the Otrar Sazi ensemble under Nurgisat Lendiev, it was played before the Q at Atulgawa. Other unusual instruments include percussion pieces like tambourines with metal rings, ones used to clean grain, and instruments that produce a sharp, shart sound were called shartqildawaq. They were used during animal drives.
которые при игре издают звучание.
Many of these instruments began as everyday tools for household tasks, and over time they found their way into folk music.
Изначально многие инструменты использовались в бытовых целях, хозяйственных целях, и спустя какое-то время перекочевали в народную музыку.
Here, the past lives on in every instrument, in every fragment of sound. Preserving this living heritage allows folk music to fulfill its true mission: to unite people, to connect generations, and to carry the spirit of the nation across the centuries.